Hey guys, I'm Dave and welcome to the Weird Kid Show. It's awesome having you here today. I really appreciate it, guys. Okay, so now we're on to part 4 of the cursed book build. I'm going to tell you right now, there may even be a part 5. I apologize. I hope you guys are alright with that. To me, I'd like to almost consider this show a mini-series or something. Something you can look forward to every week to watch, even if the progress is slow. Now, last week the video was deliberately short because I really wanted to try this community build thing to where I propose to you some options on how I can create something, and then you guys give me your feedback on what it is that you think that I should do. And I'll tell you what, I don't regret it because some of the input you guys have been giving me has been awesome. Let me tell you, I've had some great suggestions. Some of them were quite ambitious. Some of them fueled ideas for the future, and some of them I'm going to be able to do right now. But I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat, the one that popped and stood out to me that basically I have to do was a suggestion by Steve Catronio from Grimwood Hollow. And he had said that that I needed to apply the first page to the book and then have it torn as if the creature is bursting out from the pages of the book, and that makes perfect sense, and it's a must-have. I think there's no question about that. In order to really sell this thing, something like that really needed to be applied to this build. So over the weekend I did just that. Okay, now this isn't in its final position because I have to finagle and work around all of this to get to the finish line here, and I reset some lights and everything. I repositioned them. But basically, when I made my custom Book of the Dead, I had some extra pages, and one of them I just took and I cut it to size, glued it on there, and then took a razor knife and slashed at it and peeled it back. And then, of course, I had to remove the face and then reapply it. But that was okay because it gave me a chance to hot glue some of the lighting into positions, because basically the focal point is going to be on the corners here. And then I was able to reset the face in there. So that helps tremendously, I think, because it makes sense. You know, you open up the book, you've released the evil. I can imagine this thing come tearing through and bursting out from the book itself and ripping the pages away. Okay, so I like that concept. Thank you, Steve. To me, I don't think it would have looked correct without something like that. Now, I can always go back after. What I think I'm going to do is I might try to take some alcohol inks and do a darker stain here on the pages. Maybe I have to go back and put some lines in, but that's simple cosmetic stuff. I don't have to do anything really to the pages other than maybe tack them here and there, or curl them a little better just to position them. But of course we're going to have the hair, and so there can be some hair interlaced in between the tears. So we have a lot of options to go with on that. Okay, so that was an awesome idea, Steve. Thank you for that. He'd also suggested some things, and I got that from Ray too. Ray and Steve both have been real loyal supporters of this show, and I really appreciate you guys so much. The gist on what they're both suggesting was, you know, I could turn this into some kind of an animatronic thing, to where maybe if I cut a hole in the bag and then figured out some pneumatic system, maybe I could run the little tentacle things to get them moving, or I could hollow it out and have like a pop scare, or who knows. Ray suggested I recess the book, the face into the book, and then had a way for it to open and close. Rob suggested I turn it into an incense burner so I could have some smoke coming out. You know, I was leaning on that because that's actually a pretty good idea. But I just thought, you know what, at this rate, I'm never going to get done with all these fantastic ideas. It gives me some fuel because, first of all, I don't think this book is big enough. I think I would like to work with a larger book to add some kind of animatronic component or element to it. The fact is, I've never did anything animatronic or nothing that moves or anything. I've done some simple stuff, like I took a 55-gallon drum one time and I attached a board inside and put a fan, oscillating fan on it, and then put a mask on it so it was in the barrel and moved its head back and forth. That's about the extent of my experience. It is something I'm going to have to delve into one of these days, and stuff like this, you know, gives me some ideas. As you can see, the face takes up most of the room. Even cut down, it would be hard to get it flush to where I could close the book. So at this point in the game, I think it's safe to say that this is what we've got so far, okay? So I think we're going to go with a goatee because we had enough people vote on that with their input, and I agree. So we're going to give this guy a goatee. We're going to put horns. If you didn't watch last week, we're going to use these little horns that were given to us from Steve Catronio from Grimwood Hollow. So I'm going to do that today. I did add some little Primo polymer clay spikes to these little creatures and put them on there before I do the latex and paper towel. And I think there was enough, safe to say I heard enough about a large eyeball. Some people, Sam Hain said maybe have it hanging down, but I think we're gonna just keep it simple, and I'm gonna attach it there, and we're gonna have low eyebrows, okay, and then we're gonna have these things. I might even add some hair, tussles of hair, maybe on the head or something, just to give it some extra characteristics. We're gonna position them there, and then we're gonna finalize this thing before we start painting it. Okay, so what it's going to be doing is I'm going to do the final assembly here now. I probably have to paint and treat the eye because I'm going to use some cotton for the capillaries. Anyways, guys, I think we're going to get this thing together as much as we can, and then next week we'll do the final paint and put this thing to bed. Okay, I hope you guys don't mind sticking with me. I hope you don't mind these lengthy weekly episodes of these builds. But we're going to definitely be putting this to bed next week for sure, okay? So anyways, guys, I appreciate you so much, and thank you for being here. Check this out. Alright, guys, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these horns, okay, and then I'm going to put some latex and shop towel around that to tie it in. Alright, and get those things set. And then we're going to go ahead and tackle this eyeball. Alright, so I got them tacked in there just with some super glue, and it'll hold pretty good. But what will really tie it all in is when I take the shop towel and the latex. So I'm going to get me some of my latex. Alright, so I got my latex, I got my shop towels. And so basically all I'm going to do is I want to just create a ridge around the horns like you typically see. And I'm going to do that with some shop towel here. I'm going to tear it up a little bit and get it all wrinkly. And then I can go ahead and just add some latex right around that thing. The latex itself is going to help tie it all in. Go right around it. Break off the excess. Tuck that back in. So now we have like a little ridge there, but it's not. I can once I start to put some more of this latex on there, then I can start. Actually, I find that I can move the paper towel around, manipulate it a little bit with the brush, because that latex, it's moist and it really seeps into the paper towel. It makes it pliable. And although I've not used it much, Steve's talked to me about, one of the things I've used in the industry was tissue paper. Not to be confused with sneezing tissue, which comes in one little sheet. Tissue paper has a different property than, your household tissue. And I can see how that would be good for like a skin coating and wrinkles and all that other stuff. But this process works too good. Works really good too. You can do a lot with this. I'm really happy. Like I said, guys, I can't say enough good about this. All right, so we got that one tied in. I'm gonna go ahead and put some latex around this one. Loving this, guys. This is fun. I hope you are sticking with me with these weekly installments. Hopefully some of you will be looking forward to this every week. I know I'm not doing these really elaborate builds. If you would rather me not do a weekly installment and rather just shoot and build and not release the video until the whole build is done, then let me know that down in the comments. But it might mean that I'll be missing some weeks, because I really only have like 1 or 2 days a week where I can physically sit down and do this. I do some stuff on the weekends when I have a chance, but it's usually with the kids. So it's something that I'm not videoing. It's doing something for myself and doing stuff with the kids. It is a mess in here, and a lot of it, believe it or not, is my daughter Haley. She gets in here. She loves working in here with Daddy, and I cut her loose. As long as she's safe, I cut her loose, and she can make a heck of a mess, but her daddy can too. So I'm not blaming her for that. All right, so those horns are in. All we need to do is let it dry, and they're ready to paint whenever we're ready for that. What I think I'm going to do now is knock these guys out. And what I want to do with this, I want to try something that I've done before. So if you got some heavy duty string, something like this, before you put the latex on it, you need to pick a spot on the foam, and then I tie it real tight so that it creates an indentation in the foam. And then I will I'll hold it with my finger and come over to another section and then tie it real tight again. Alright, so what this does is it creates bevels. Alright, and it's loose here, and then I did it again. I'm gonna go over here to in between here, and I'm gonna go tight, really tight again. Alright, so it's giving it a different texture. I like that. I'm gonna go tight again, and it'll hide this when you won't even see this when you put the shop towel. And you can do this with tentacles and all kinds of other stuff. So now we've got this texture here. I'm going to do the same thing to that one. And then basically that's all I'm going to do now is just the shop towel and latex. Now one of the things that I'm going to have to do on this one here is I want his mouth to be open. Alright, so that's going to leave an empty cavity under there. I think I'm going to start there. I'm going to put some latex here on his under jaw. Get some paper towel here and get it all wrinkly. I'm just going to throw it on there. Alright, go back over it with the latex. And then blend it into the actual body of it. So that's going to tie it in. And then it's going to also cover the underside of the mouth. One of the things I know I'm going to have to do, guys, is I'm going to have to make these some tongues for these things. Alright, because I can't just have this empty mouth like that, we're gonna have to give a little bit of detail to that inner mouth. Okay, so I'm gonna work on this. I'll get this done, and then we're gonna come back and talk about what we're gonna do next. So hang tight. All right, guys, and this is what I ended up with. Okay, so yeah, all I did was tie the string real tight around one section, and then loosely go over, and then tight, and all the way across until I got this texture here. And then I just took my shop towels and latex and hid and covered the string, and tied the head into the body, and then of course closed in the bottom of the mouth so that we will have an interior. Okay, and so what I decided to do was I made some of these little eyeballs for them. I do have some glass eyes that are the same as this but small, and when this whole thing started I was like, okay, well it's gonna be part of the same thing, so it's gonna have the same eyes. But as this thing has evolved, and it has evolved quite a bit, we decided that yeah, this is the evil that's escaping, and it could be multiples of things. The most profound thing you see here is the demon coming through, but there could be all kinds of other stuff coming through. Like, I don't know if you ever see that movie The Mist, where they opened a portal and it was all kinds of crazy creatures and all kinds of dangerous things in the wild. So he is done. The other thing that I did, I just sculpted, and they're in the oven, is some tongues. So I got 2 tongues for these guys. Alright, and they're both all done for the most part. They're over here. They're going to be over here curing and getting dry. Alright, so that leaves us with the eyeball. Okay, so what I did was I sculpted this oversized eyeball that's going to go in there. And then what I'm going to do is, and I think I've showed you this before, I know it's been covered before on other tutorials, a lot of people have done this, first of all, I took some King's Yellow and some white and mixed it together to give it this off-white look. Okay, and I used this glass cabochon. You can find them in all different sizes on Amazon. And then I just take some common knitting yarn. Alright, and I'll take it and I'll cut a strand, and then I'll start pulling it apart, because I want to get down to these really thin, I don't know if you can see that, really thin fibers. Okay, I'll keep pulling them apart. And now this is going to serve as our blood vessels, and I'm going to show you how I do that. And then we're going to get that done and then seal it, give it a wet look. Alright, and then we're going to position it. Alright, so I just take some Mod Podge, and I got enough in there too. Alright, so what I do is I'll take my brush and then I'll dip it in the old Mod Podge. This is kind of sticky and dirty, you know. You're going to get it on your hands. And I just coat a little bit of the eyeball, and I'll get me some of this fine stuff here, and then I'll just lay it on there like that. Alright, and then what I'll do is I'll come back with more Mod Podge and then come over the top of it, and then you can move it around. Alright, and then pull it and separate it, manipulate it. Ooh! I'll be darned. Try not to drop it. And then and I got all kinds of stuff from the... Alright, so try not to drop it. And yeah, just keep doing that until I get it all worked in. And then once I like the position of where those little blood vessels are, then I'll I'll set it aside and then allow it to dry. And then you'll have an eyeball with some blood vessels. Alright guys. And there he has his oversized eye. I love it. I think I really like it. You know, somebody who turned me on to this concept was actually Keith from Cobwebs and Candlestick, because he tends to do the oversized, you know, the mismatch eyes. Now I think I still might go in under here and do some eyelids to tie it in. We wanted a big bulging eye, but we also want to see some eyelids, I think, a little bit there, just down at the bottom here to kind of tie it in. Alright, and as you can see, or maybe you can or can't see, that yarn here makes for some good blood vessels and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and seal that eye to make it look wet with some wet, which is a product that I bought, and our little lizard our lizard creature thingies are still curing. I still got their tongues in the oven. So what's gonna happen, guys, is I'm gonna make you come back again next week. But what's gonna happen this time is, from now until then, I'm gonna go ahead and get everything together, mount the heads, do all the final details, because for the most part it's done. Okay, so I just need to fit everything together, and next week what we're gonna do is we're gonna paint the whole thing, and then the last thing that we do is we put the hair in, okay, and then put the little goatee, and we'll get into that too. So it's safe to say that next week, which will be part 5 of the Cursed Book build, this will be put to bed. So I hope you are enjoying what we've done here to get us up to this point, and I hope you come back next week, because this is a relaxing time for me to make a video with you guys and talk to you and share with you what I'm doing, and you know, I can't do as much as I would really like to, but when I do stuff, it's nice to be able to share it with you. So I hope you do enjoy it. I hope I don't bore you too much. I hope you'll be wanting to come back next week to see the conclusion of this. Anyways, guys, if you haven't done so, go check out my brothers Keith from Cobwebs and Candlesticks and Vic Springston from Monster Misfits. Together we make up the Trio of Terror, and we're building all year round, guys. And please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so. That helps me out greatly. That's a nice way of showing support. And so anyways, guys, I really appreciate you, and until next time, peace.